And the Supreme Court tomorrow is going to hear arguments about your executive order trying to get rid of birthright citizenship.
And I'm going.
You're going to go to the Supreme Court tomorrow.
I do believe
and just sit there and listen.
Because I have listened to this argument for so long, and this is not about Chinese billionaires or billionaires from other countries who all of a sudden have 75 children or 59 children in one case or 10 children becoming American citizens. This was about slaves. And if you take a look, slaves, we're talking about slaves from the Civil War. And if you take a look at when it was filed, all of this legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, it was at the end of the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves. And hopefully it's going to say, because our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people, they're selling the rights to them. People are making a living, a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen of the United States of America. That's not what it was for. It wasn't for billionaires bringing people in or family in. It was for the children of slaves. And what you really have to do, and I don't think the lawyers talk about it as much, look at when the Civil War ended and look at the date of when this was enacted. Okay.
Have you ever been to the Supreme Court before? Is this going to be the first time going to the Supreme Court?
No, I went once before, the opening of the Supreme Court in the last administration.
And which justices will you be listening for most closely?
I love a few of them. I don't like some others.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Table of Titans. It is Thursday again, and we got a whole new democracy going on. I came in with some diaper democracy, talking about a little bit about the Supreme Court. We got decisions about mail-in votes. We've also got some Supreme Court decisions. We got the Band-Aid ripped off over California last night. So that's quite interesting. A whole bunch of people they raided all at once. We're going to get into which billionaire had about 100 kids out there. Plus, we still got a little bit going on with the whole war, and we've got a whole bunch of domestic issues we still need to get into. And then, we got another Pam Bondi issue, but we're going to talk all about that in time. We're going to have fun with it. We just got done with the April Fools, and that was quite interesting. Going to show you a little bit of that. We're going to keep it fun. Man down with Rdoc. He's got other stuff to do tonight. Will not be available for tonight. We apologize for that, but I got Space Shot and Tron. What is going on, my friend?
What's going on, guys? It feels like everything's happening at the same time. Boss is rocking and rolling. And if you catch that, 25-minute speech the other night, fantastic. Not necessarily for all of us out there that have been following for so long, but again, every average day American out there wondering when we're going to get a little bit of a relief here and there at our energy, at our gasoline, food prices, blah, blah, blah. And most of us don't know this, but you guys do. We're building this future. We're building this America to be the America that we want it to be. And there's going to be a little bit of downtime. We're coming up on a year anniversary of this Liberation Day. We haven't seen the full effect of these tariffs in here. And again, this occupation, this Iran conflict, whatever it might be, is America first. We're dismantling these deep state proxies that are all over the place. It feels like North Korea, again, not as clean as swift as Venezuela, but Cuba's next. And this is the American dominance that I want to see. This is what I voted for. And this is full steam ahead. There is no looking back. And it looks like we're having a little Scaramucci model acting attorney general. It's not Whitaker. It's someone else. Again, loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Hit that thumbs up. Let's have a great show.
Thank you, Tron. Appreciate that. Your voice sounds so sultry there. Mr. Space Shot, what is going on, sir?
So silky. I like it. So silky. But yeah,
you're definitely again. Louder.
Yeah, you like that, huh? My mic etiquette is on point. You know, I'll turn it down just a little bit.
I'm gonna bring you down a little bit.
Don't bring me down. We're having such a good show already. Okay. But how's it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Yes, we are in some interesting times, and I don't know if you caught that, Tron. I was watching the YouTube link on it is different than the X link, but he came out and they opened up those doors really quickly in short order at exactly 9/11, like on the dot. So I thought that was interesting. Don't know if that was anything, but I checked it on X, and it was like another 10 seconds difference. So it wasn't exactly the same on both, but you're never gonna have the same on different platforms. We still, even though we have one man down, we still got a lot of stuff to handle, of course. Always want to thank the mods out there for helping myself and these guys and many others out there. And as you guys may have seen on the screen, we're flashing merch. So any ideas you guys have for cool t-shirts ideas? We're going to be revamping the t-shirt thing we did in 2018. We'll see how that goes. But always thank you to the mods, and never forget to thank the folks over there at Liberty Based News Country and the crew simulcasting with us the whole way through, back where we all met in Patriot News back in the day. So with that said, let's have a great show. Back to you, brother.
Yeah, let's get into it. So some of the funny things, I wanted to rip this off really quick. Tron, would you? Oh, we got to do a refresh. My Windows Edge is grabbing a little problem. Read that for everybody.
Guys, check it. President Trump to display life-size replica of Joe Biden falling up the stairs on Air Force One in his Presidential Library Museum. I was wondering what that was doing in there.
But realistically, he does have plans set up and all that out there. And you can read this for everybody. Let's see if this stands up.
Holy cow, President Trump's Presidential Library will feature two iconic pieces of history: the soon-to-be retired Air Force One and the golden escalators that Trump famously descended in 2015 to launch his first presidential campaign. The moment that launched the MAGA movement, it's shaping up to be the most unique and bold presidential library. I love it.
So he's already got plans set up for his presidential library, big tower. I can't remember what city down in Florida it's going to be put in, but artist renderings are already out, so that's cool. And then they talked about the plane. Didn't know about the golden escalators, but that would be pretty cool.
That's awesome. Are they going to add in the kid dropping the photo as he drives by, like the Simpsons episode?
Simpsons, yeah.
Wait, what part was that? The photo?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
kid at the top. Yeah.
Yes. So
Oh,
when he came down the escalator in the Simpsons episode, they did exactly what they did in real life. And as he came down the escalator with Melania, somebody that was adjacent, so it'd be like the left side there, literally dropped the photo. And so they did that as well in the. I don't. Which one was first, dude? Right? Like, how many times do they get these things right? Oh man.
Yeah.
Nothing from Tron on that one.
Well, no, it definitely makes good TikTok comments. But when I was doing the Looking Glass, there were a few situations where it was reversed, where the Simpsons took advantage of them, knowing the future, and actually recreated something that was already created. And that was when Boss was behind the podium. It said Trump with the 4 stars or 3 stars, which mimicked the 2016 campaign. And that came out after the campaign. But, the TikTok and the Occam's razor and the Mandela effects come out with, clicks and whatnot, but you got to be careful, because it's a wild world.
It's a wild world we live in. So, not April Fools, but we ran into this here. So, Space Shy, would you like to take the header on that one?
Why you got to make fun of people, dude? And apparently this is not this was not a big surprise. Apparently they all knew about this. So Christi Noem's husband exposed living secret double life with fetish chats, bimbo selfies, and payments to models per Daily Mail. Former intelligence officials warn alleged behavior could create blackmail vulnerabilities tied to Noem's former DHS role. And who was she cheating? She cheated on him with somebody.
What's
that
his
had an
name?
affair.
Warnkowski or
Lewandowski,
Corey Lewandowski, yeah. And then so people didn't have a problem with it because they said, well, look, her husband's all screwed up and everybody knows it. They're not even lopsided.
So it this whole vetting thing, about the U.S. government, make sure that we hire the best of the best of the best, and make sure you check into their background. I like Christi Noem. I think she's a smart girl, but you don't leave this just in the back of the closet and hopefully nobody's going to find this. They got chat logs and payments, and multiple
I mean,
outfits.
maybe she's into this thing. That's another thing. We're looking at him like he's weird, but maybe Christie's the one that we have to look at, like you said. And when I first saw this come across my screen, I'm like, why is James Comey doing this now? Like,
That's what I thought.
Right? It looked like James, because I don't know what the hell her husband looks like. No, nor should we even want to. But yeah, and she's an absolute beauty. She's bold. She's beautiful. What is this man doing? And why do you choose the biggest breasts ever? Can't you just be like, normal? Like he went straight up Barbie, like, action figure and whatnot. But I don't know. Pray for Christy. I think she might be into it. I don't know. She was losing laundry the last 2 weeks. I mean, come on now.
That's the other thing. Make sure that he's not wearing the stuff in the photos that she's worn. And I tried to discredit this for like 15 minutes, and it's true.
Apparently, the big secret is they all knew. Everybody in Capitol Hill, apparently, and we were the last to find out. I mean, does it surprise?
How come nobody's letting loose on Lindsey Graham, dude? Seriously, God, dude's walking around Disneyland or Disney World by himself.
Really? Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's where he went. He ended up on TMZ. TMZ held up to their end of the bargain and posted everybody out there, including a whole bunch of them went skiing to the Swiss Alps or something like that. But yeah, I thought Lindsey Graham being at Disneyland by himself walking around was kind of weird.
Well, this could be like the new Fight Club. Remember when, what's his name, Meatloaf, or what was his name? Bob from Fight Club had a little bit of that going on. Who knows?
Yep.
Oh my God, if you know, folks. Oh, sorry about that. If you don't.
Steroid abuse, that one was.
So says Mrs. Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. For the busty bimbo over here pouring out all over social media over here. The busty bimbo, guys.
Oh, God.
Oh. So the other half of this story is, you know what the other half of that story is? This lady right here. Who's this?
Fang Fang.
So if anybody remembers back when she testified in front of Congress and had a nice talk with Eric Fartwell, and they were talking about the violence against, I guess, the location he was staying at or something along those lines. They were going after him, and they had a cordial conversation, there inside Congress talking about, we took you seriously. We brought you back up. He thanked. They went back and forth on it. And so the other side of the story is she let the cat out of the bag that, hey, Kash Patel's going to start bringing this information about your so-called affair with this Chinese spy. They're going to release the information and the investigation stuff that they have against you. And then that's when the cease and desist information came out. So at this point, I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but there's a lot of people that are talking about this particular step that she was playing cover for Fartwell.
Wow. I mean, can you even do that, though? Like, what's to stop? If there's a crime alleged, and that's the thing, like, maybe if he just puts it out there and there's no crime attached to it, you could say, you're slandering somebody or you're trying to say something. But if you can prove that maybe he was doing something bad, obviously that's a different story. But you also might have somebody that's just basically messing with Swalwell at this point, right? I don't know. We'll
if they're playing cover on there, that's one story on there for it. If we kind of go back in the Pam Bondi list, there seems to be a lot of changes as we get there. The other side of this too, also on Starwell, longs in here, the FCC told Eric Starwell you could not charge child care to his campaign. He did anyways. Department of Labor denied Starwell's nanny a green card application, so he employed her illegally. So that's the nanny and whatnot that they're also running into problems about some of the payoffs and stuff going on in the Eric Starwell side of the system itself. So a couple issues he's running into, including the whole issue with him and Adam Schiff over there on the Intelligence Committee. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, big time. That's crazy, dude. Like, why bother asking if you're going to do it anyway? Who cares, right?
Yeah. So here, the FBI was preparing a cache of documents on Starwell's relationship with Christi Fang. She intervened in those matters, and the White House wasn't pleased she was intervening due to the personal friendship with Starwell. What that friendship is, I'm not sure. Isn't he out of California? So I don't know if he's got any relations to her in Florida or anything that I am aware of. But he likes to sleep with everybody.
Yeah, this was probably the setup, the handler, and the fact that we have Noem's husband coming out with boobies is again, mocking the narrative, which is going to lead to exactly this: the Fang, and then also Feinstein had the Chinese driver, and then Kash Patel's IDF. I say that in quotes. Don't sue me, wife. Entertainment purposes only, as I sip on my juice box. But nonetheless, like, this is showing the family, the relationships, follow the wives, and again, the nepotism, bloodlines. This is opening up something bigger. And is it as if we need any more reason to take these criminals down? This just adds a little spice to it. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of getting a little interesting. I would like to go back in time for everybody right here. Everybody remembers him, right? Mr. Slicky Hair.
And if you want to talk about Swalwell, let's talk about Swalwell, because you have not had the briefing that I had. I had the briefing and Nancy Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI. The FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with a Chinese spy until he served on intel. So it wasn't just us who were concerned about it. The FBI was concerned about putting a member of Congress on the intel committee that has the rights to see things that others don't because of his knowledge and relationship with a Chinese spy. They brought it to the works of the leaders. I've got that briefing. So I do not believe he should sit on that committee. And I believe there's 200 other Democrats that can serve on that committee.
And as far as I remember, eventually in the end, he got removed. But that's after they played all the games and, did the whole January 6th thing and all that, which is some interesting developments about that coming up later in the show itself. So, yeah. So interesting with Farwell. And, I don't know where this is all going to land, but it is definitely getting interesting because we do have, we'll get into the other stuff here a little bit later here. Comments on Farwell and the rest of the stuff we've covered so far? Because we're going to...
Yeah. It sounds to me like, what I was just talking about a little while ago, if there's any, meat to that story, and it sounds like from this clown here, Mr. Slick, that, yeah, that briefing was pretty crazy. And let me thank Bond for the very, very generous gifting out 20 subs to the channel. So I very much appreciate that, and I'm typing that as I say that. But and Hulk, so it seems to me like that briefing, was worse than what we found out about. And so if they kind of just swept things under the rug under a different administration, then maybe he has rights to go back and do it as long as the time isn't passed,
Yeah, so right now, actively blocking the FBI and Kash Patel from releasing any information in regards to any investigation of Eric Swalwell, who doesn't live in California, but it's running for governor over there, but he ain't going to make it, so that's happening. Remember, we got tax season showing up very shortly there. Mr. Tron, would you read this for everybody right here?
Check it, guys. If you're working on your taxes this week, don't forget to report your income from illegal activities and stolen property. I remember this from last time. If you're dealing drugs, you must include it in your income on Schedule 1. That's that Form 1040, line 8Z, or on Schedule C of Form 1040 if you're for your self-employment activity. There it is. If you steal something, guys, if you go into Target and steal big screen TVs worth $680, you must report it as fair market value in your income, because all criminals do in the year you steal it. That's real. This is not a joke. This is legit.
This is from the IRS under the Biden administration. So I don't know where it is right now, to be honest with you, if this is still in there, but just as a quick reminder of some of the craziness we've had to deal with over the years itself. And of course, just to kind of show history of the craziness over here, we could see right here, the Republicans can fix it this time, the Democrats can fix it this time, showing the national debt climbing between each one of the administrations, but somebody's going to fix it until it crashes, and then we're all out on the street anyways with bread lines, if we're lucky. So hopefully I get a really nice gulag to live in.
We're going to have the best gulags ever. Yeah, that's if you listen to the doom and the panicins, but, I think they've set us up for this position right now ahead of time, well ahead of time.
Yes, we're going to have issues. Let's get it right here.
Kaylee, I just got off the phone with President Trump. We have a big scoop. Pam Bondi will soon leave her job as the Attorney General. She is going to get a different job within the administration. It doesn't sound like there is any bad blood between her and President Trump, but it does seem like they want her to go and do something else. And in an interim role, she will be replaced by Todd Blanche, who is currently her deputy at the Justice Department. So it doesn't sound like Blanche is being elevated long term to the Attorney General. There might be somebody else that the president wants to go in there. But President Trump soon will announce to the entire world that it is the end of Pam Bondi's time as the Attorney General. He still thinks that she is a great person and that she did a good job. And he still wants her in the fold because she will still be an important part of the administration, he tells me, but no longer as the top law enforcement officer of the United States.
It's coming out. They had a talk in the Beast on the way to SCOTUS this morning to listen to it. So going back and actually posting what Trump's actually saying here, says, we love Pam. She's transitioning into a much needed and important new job in the private sector. Because some people are like, oh, maybe she's going to take one of the two grand juries that are down in Florida, because she could be the prosecutor down there because she still holds all the right keys and still part of the administration. And as soon as I saw private sector, nope, we're done. You're out the door. Next.
Interesting, though. I mean, we've never seen that in the past, though, because they often do, like the Comeys and the Rays, right? They leave here and then they go to a job in the private sector. I don't know, and I know Tron probably reads his post more than I do. Have you seen that in the past where he's actually said they're actually going to be going into a private sector job, and then he says a much needed and important new job? So I thought that was weird as well.
Well, that's kind of the same thing that Admiral Rogers did. He went into the private sector for defense of something, and that's kind of, the movement here. And remember, this is the Scaramucci 2.0 coming in, and Pam, whatever we think of her, part of the team. And at the end of the day, I always trust boss and his decisions. But this new guy, maybe, again, it's time. And this also shows and kind of shines a spotlight where, the DC criminals are kind of scratching their heads saying, okay, Pam, quote unquote, did nothing. And now here comes this new guy. And again, back to loyalty. This is boss's former defense lawyer. He worked under Pam. He was involved in the quote unquote Epstein files and also the mortgage fraud and whatnot. So, this is our third time around, our second time around. And in 2028, whether the diamonds are returned or not, this is the movement. So let's bring in a new superhero. Let's move her to the private sector. And hopefully she won't end up like Don Jr.'s girlfriend over in Greece somewhere. We haven't even seen her lately. But, she did a job well done. It's it. It's over. So c'est la vie, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we know that they did do action and clean up inside the DOJ, and they also did the same thing FBI. So they have made some differences and inroads that are in there in the system itself. But again, Trump has been saying this about a month ago that she needs to basically shit or get off the pot. And it seems like we're at that point right now where it's going to take somebody else's turn to see if they can get this stuff across the finish line itself. So there's going to be a lot of work left to do. Is Todd Blanche, who is part of the impeachment lawyers that helped Trump not get impeached. So he's a Trump lawyer, but he is a Democrat. So is the number two below him is a Democrat also. They're kind of hardline DOJ guys. Remember, Blanche was the guy that came out and somebody had asked him about the Epstein files. We're going to prosecute any of the people there. And he's like, basically, no, we're not going to prosecute anybody. We released all the information that we have, even though that we know there's still an open indictment against the Epstein fraud and the whole thing is still floating around in the DOJ. But looking at this now, we're also seeing Tulsi might be on the chopping block and possibly Kash Patel. Is it true? I'm not sure. But we've seen some of the weaponization groups disappear. Like the going after the presidential signatures, the what do you call it? The pardons and those sort of things. Weaponization. They all disappeared back in December.
Absolutely. I got a couple for you, Hulk. So this is just reading back to 2957. Does, quote, placeholder refer to a person placed in a short-term position, acting, temporary role, cause destruction, then move on? Hard to hit a moving target. Scaramucci model, hemp hire by design, shadow to sessions by design, public will become aware, document dump. So my question for you guys is, and this is, I'll insert a funny, weird answer and see what you guys have to say about it. Who are they going to replace her with to make the new attorney general? How about somebody that had to take one for the team and then later come to find out to be a hero? Who was that in the drops? Sometimes, what is it? Let me read this for you here really quick. Sometimes you need to, quote, take one for the team publicly before you are vindicated as a hero. I'll give you another hint. Peter Schweitzer found only one single member of Congress against whom no allegations could be held, who had never taken a dime that was not his, never cut a backroom deal, had simply never played the game. That individual was Jeff Sessions.
He ain't coming back. No way.
He's still alive?
What was he doing?
When he ran for senator, and he gave out that speech, I was like, nope, he's the wrong person for that. And James Kin also came out and says that Todd left his law firm to defend Trump, and that's true.
Ooh.
He did walk away from that system.
Ooh, actually, too, and let me give you one more piece, and think you guys might remember this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't President Trump's military academy friend there, Peter Tickton, actually put a video out 6 months ago, and he was saying that it was Todd Blanche that was blocking. Did I get that right? Did you guys remember seeing that?
I heard Todd Blanche was blocking a lot of these prosecutions, being a career Democrat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's what Tickton said. I remember that in a video specifically, and I was like, wait, he's close to Trump, and then so why is Blanche in there still? And again, fog of war, moving the pieces around, don't know. Is Pam doing something? Is she doing nothing? Or, is she paid off and all these connections to the banks and the lobbying firm she used to work with Epstein and stuff? Is that a factor? Or is she actually doing things behind the scenes that we don't know about? Again, very unclear. We don't have a fulsome picture of that to report to you.
Well, the one thing we do know about Boss is you got to produce. And if you're not producing, he's going to the next person. And he's always been like that. So it just... Go ahead.
And also, something else you got to think about is that we were kind of on, we, as in, we the people, were kind of on Pam Bondi's ass, Kash Patel, a handful of these people, because this is like the final go around. If this is going for the gold, if this is, the World Series and the Super Bowl, then yeah, exactly what Hulk said, you got to send your best. And if you don't do it, then you got to get out. Or there might be something more to this, but she did, do great human trafficking arrests down there at certain things, but we wanted more. We want that big arrest. We want it all at once. And at the same time, she can't do it herself. Kash can't do it herself. We all have to kind of come together, all the agencies, and kind of, get this RICO thing going. But I still think we have time. Let's get the midterms and let's just get that walking down the street where they can't do it kind of thing. I like that.
Yeah, we got about a year to really show some changes in this particular thing. Because you got to remember, so if you're looking at some of the numbers, the polls are saying, the Democrats are going to take the House, the Senate, blah, 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 landslide this and that. I went back and looked at some of the state polls where they're polling the actual voters themselves and not telemarketing it. And the actual voting districts themselves are only showing Trump behind by about 0.5%. And I go, well, that's actually kind of bad. And the guy's like, normally around this time 4 years ago, this number would be 10 to 15 points, but it's 0.5 point behind. So the numbers are holding strong, and a lot of the voting districts that voted for Trump are going to continue to vote Trump and approve of the things that he is doing. The number did drop, though, compared to what it was, a year ago, but that normally happens every election cycle. So just to kind of throw that out there, you could take it at any grain of salt. What else do we got? Let's get into some other stuff over here. We're getting to some heavy over here. Here's another thing here that's coming out because Trump administration, Trump 1.0, tried to get the list of hospitals to post their pricing online, which never really made it to the forefront. Beginning April 1st, HHS will require hospital executives to attest their posted prices are accurate. If the hospitals misled patients or fall to disclosure actual prices will hold them accountable. So they're going after these guys and changing a lot of the insider and a lot of these corruption that are running inside of our medical system, especially when you got like these companies that own, everything from the doctor, provider, the insurance company, and the people giving you the drugs. That doesn't turn out very well, but one step closer. They're also looking at the getting the microplastics out of water and doing some new stuff with that. So that's coming out very shortly. But I found this pretty good that at least they're getting active and want to show transparency now.
Heck yeah. You can't have all these, $27 for a comb, you know what I mean? $15 for a toothbrush or something like that. But yeah, the prices need to be fixed. And that meeting or that interview you kind of touched on, which is Hulk was saying how they own everything. The congressman or senator is like, raise your hand if you own, an insurance company. Okay, and keep your hands up. Raise your hand if you own a pharmacy. Raise your hand if you own the place in between that. It's like they all own everything.
The care provider itself. Yeah. They own everything, dude. It's crazy.
Bad.
So that's going on. What else do we got for you here? The whole the TSA, because they obviously Trump's trying to get these people paid because they've hired a new person to run that department itself. They put him in position, and Trump's basically signed an executive order to take money from this department and pay basically the TSA employees. So they asked Chuck Schumer on this.
President Trump's new order, as you know, to pay all Department of Homeland Security employees will provide welcome relief for these workers, especially the TSA workers. Do you give him any credit for that, Senator?
No, we've been trying to do it for 3 weeks.
They haven't been trying for 3 weeks. They wanted to basically strip out of the DHS and a whole bunch of other departments to make it weaker for them to go after the illegal immigrants, which is getting pretty weak right now. Did you know this time last year in California, they arrested 14,000 illegal immigrants and exported them out of the United States? Anybody want to guess what that number is today in California?
0
for the month? 2,000.
Interesting.
So it's dropping off. You're just thinking about that. So ran by this video over here, which I find greatly impressive over here. So TSA agents is in Michigan talking to a pregnant lady coming in from Nigeria.
Do you plan on having the baby in Michigan? That's fine. And how are you going to pay for it? And we can move on. Okay. So answer the questions, please.
Fine.
Yes.
So if she can have the baby in Michigan,
yes.
Fine.
Okay.
If we can pay for it.
Very
if we
good.
cannot pay for it, then we leave it.
Okay, very good. Was that your intention when you guys traveled from Nigeria? You knew that. Is that right? You knew that that's what was going to happen?
Yeah, we knew it.
Okay. Were you nervous to tell me that?
Yeah, because we didn't know what.
No problem. I appreciate you telling me the truth.
What are they going to do with us?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to move to the next step. We'll figure it out. Do you plan on
So they're specifically asking them how you going to pay for your pregnancy, and then we go to the next thing. So this comes back to the whole birthright citizenship that we're coming to. There's some crazy stuff that's in this thing. Comments on this?
Is necessary, and again, this is why we might have the ICE agents at the airports. I mean, they're fleecing our nation. This is the system, and once we put our foot down, finally we have a president that cares about this. After the last several years. Imagine the money that's going to be saved. We're not going to go in and have to, steal from our doctor's office. That's the reason why they lock everything up. I got tongue suppressors. I got that thing they knock your knee with, like all kinds of stuff, because you got to make it back. It costs too much. And it's mostly not necessarily because of the Nigerians, but it's just everyone out there that are just coming here for the freebies, guys. I mean, if I was given that opportunity to Canada, I might be up there and watching John Candy movies, doing that kind of thing. But again, opportunity. We can't let it happen anymore.
Canadian bacon. So let's get into some of this other stuff out here. California over here, coming from our state attorney general over here, Bill Essay. How do you say his last name?
Essayli.
In coordination with task force to eliminate fraud, federal law enforcement executed several arrests and search warrants in the Los Angeles area this morning. Operation Say Never Die involved 11 defendants and almost $50 million. There's like 20 places that they raided in Los Angeles here just in the last couple of days over here. So it's getting very serious very shortly over here. What did he give us over here? He's just giving us numbers. Let's get into some of the actual reports of some of the stuff that we're going into. Here, we'll start off with this one right here. This is in Irvine, California, guys.
Federal agents swooping in this morning to raid what they are calling maternity tourism rings. The ring helps pregnant women, most of them in this area from China, illegally travel to the U.S. to give birth to American babies. NBC4's Hedy Chang has more from Orange County.
Just after sunrise, they are ready to roll. Our cameras are there as dozens of federal investigators storm into the Carlisle apartments in Irvine.
If you come here in the evening, you see all the pregnant women walking around.
Investigators say this building and at least 20 other locations they raided in L.A., Orange, and San Bernardino counties double as maternity hotels.
People who come from China to the United States for the sole purpose.
You guys all notice he said building, right? The entire building of this apartment complex condo stuff that they have over here in Irvine, California. One of them was sectioned off and owned by a particular person that was using this building to do the tourism for birthing there in Irvine, dude. I was like, holy crap, an entire building, apartment complex, probably with, I don't know, probably 100 units in it easily without blinking an eye. Crazy. Comments?
No, and again, back to the apartment buildings. They had the Tren de Aguas over there in Colorado as well. So, and then the New York hotel rooms. I mean, what is happening right here? This is insane. And again, everything for free, guys. No more leeching off the system. We pay our taxes on this 250th anniversary, all over a 2% tax on tea. And enough is enough, man. Let's get them out of here. Let's clean up those voter rolls and make everything affordable again.
So here, check this out. This one's crazy.
7 on Your Side investigates a case of child abuse that could lead to a wider investigation tonight. It involves 21 children, all linked to the same couple in Arcadia. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes live with the details. Rob?
Yeah, Mark, 21 children all living inside this house, all of them from surrogate moms. 17 of them were 3 years old or younger. Now, we tried to talk to the folks who live here, but the front gate's been locked all day. That didn't stop the police from getting in, though.
It's a house that looks like a castle, but it's under investigation for being a possible factory, a baby factory.
We believe that it extended beyond our city and into possibly other parts of the country and maybe internationally.
Arcadia police stumbled upon this house on Camino Real Avenue while investigating a child abuse case, a 2-month-old suffering a traumatic head injury. After getting a search warrant, detectives seized security cameras from inside the home and made some alarming discoveries.
We discovered numerous children, 15 children to be specific, ranging in ages from 2 months old to 13 years old. Many of the children were birthed through surrogacy, and then the male and female at the residence took legal guardianship of those kids. 6
other kids, investigators say, had been moved to other homes. All 21 of the kids confirmed to be the children of this couple, 65-year-old Guajun Shen and 38-year-old Sylvia Zhang. They were arrested for felony child endangerment, but later released. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for their nanny, 56-year-old Chun Mei Lee. Investigators say after looking at the surveillance video, she is the main suspect in the child abuse case and is still on the loose.
The discipline, both verbally and physical.
So that's one of these many stories that we're going to cover tonight that all had happened in the last probably 48 hours, dude. Absolutely, actually crazy. There's even hospice raids at the same time. I don't know if you guys had ran into any of that there. I was going to play a little bit of that because that's all kind of happening all at the same time with the healthcare fraud. So baby tourism's is basically, they're probably tracking down this one to be a couple of them being Chinese billionaires. They're paying women like $60,000 to $80,000 to come pregnant to the United States about 2 or 3 months, hang out until they can have the kid to get the actual birth certificate and then get out. So to make sure that they can get legal citizens inside the United States just due to birth. And they've been doing this for a while because I figured this out at a place I used to live at across the street. I was going, dude, they're doing the tourism birth with all the Asian people there. And everybody thought I was crazy, but that's what they were doing there, evidently. Crazy.
bananas.
And you
dude.
could have got a manicure and a pedicure for free, dude. Good show.
And Hulk, just really quick, I don't know if you want to pop that up. I dropped something at the bottom of Tip Secret, which actually solidifies something you said, you postulated about 20 minutes ago, perhaps. Very interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'll read it out to everybody. The word coming out from the Atlantic, because we know how much we trust the Atlantic, they're reporting that the administration is having discussions for the replacement of Kash Patel, Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll, and Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Reamer. Is that her last name? Wow, that's weird.
Yeah,
and he's got to go to the bathroom. Be back in 2 minutes.
That was me 5 minutes ago.
So we're going there. So next stop is obviously what's his name? The kid that did the recording in Minnesota and California, Nick Shirley. Am I right?
Shirley, you can't be serious. Yep. Nick Shirley.
He reported earlier that he got his Twitter account hacked, and he was on his backup account earlier. So he had been posting everything up to, like, when I found it was up to 2 or 3 hours ago. So he was active, but little stuff's going along with his account. Now we can get into some of the other stuff. And remember when we talked about the fraud that was happening in Van Nuys, California, having 16% of the entire Medicaid for the entire country spent in one little county? Crazy.
Let's start here with some examples of some of the types of individuals we could be talking about, like Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez. Now, Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez was born in Santa Ana, California in 1984. His parents were from Mexico. He happens to also be the stepson of El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. And now he is reportedly leading that very same cartel. And here's the thing. He is a United States citizen by birth. And
this one's kind of out of order, but we'll keep going.
It doesn't stop there. Reports of foreign wealth being used to manipulate the system. One Chinese billionaire reportedly has more than 100 U.S.-born children through surrogacy. The idea, build a future family and a business succession plan. Some clients, by the way, request up to 100 babies via multiple surrogacies. It can cost as much as $200,000. And why would they do that? Because babies born here are automatically U.S. citizens. Also, surrogacy is illegal in China. Nearly 41% of international surrogate parents in the United States are Chinese. So why is this such a debate? Look around the world. Much of Europe has restricted birthright citizenship. Asia basically ended it. The United States, still one of the few countries around the world that sits as an outlier.
Yeah, so that was a little out of order, but I thought that was interesting because I was talking about the Chinese billionaire and the birth tourism that they're running into in the other country. And they're talking about there's like 100 companies over there in China. That's all they do is set up this birth tourism deal because they already own most of the real estate in California. Might as well use it, right?
What makes you wonder what they're doing with those? Like, what are you doing with the kids? I mean, not all these people are making a business plan, a secession, but like, you know, are they doing it for body parts, organs, organ harvesting? Very much a possibility, right?
Yeah, and that comes back to that other thing I was reading because they don't want to do the animal testing anymore. So this one company's like, why don't we just make headless humans? And, you know, you don't have to worry about any of that. And you can have all your backup hearts and lungs and all that. They're just going to be headless. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, is that real? And I went and did the whole search on it. And yeah, it's real. I was like, oh, great. Let's get into some more domestic stuff here. Okay, yeah. This is about I think this might be the testimony. I'm not sure.
And now we're learning about birth tourism. It's booming. In 2023, over 300,000 babies were born to unauthorized or legal temporary immigrant mothers. Add that in total. It's 9% of the U.S. births in that given year. When we look at how that shakes out over time, a clear spike in the number of births to unauthorized immigrant mothers in the United States from 2019 to 2023. That's unprecedented. It's unforeseen. It's undeniable. But Chief
9%. of all births in the United States was due to the immigrants. Wow.
That's crazy, dude. 320,000 babies in 1 year. And then how many people came over the border that year, too? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to California here. Says the scale of fraud reported here is staggering. California is losing $50 billion a year due to Medicaid fraud alone. That's more than the other 29 states spend in their entire budget. Look, that's crazy, because they're coming out with J.D. Vance and the rest of his crew is coming out with the actual fraud. So they know that they're losing $50 billion, and that's not including the $24 billion that Gavin Newsom spent on homelessness. This is just Medicaid fraud itself. Holy crap, dude. That's a shitload of money, guys.
Well, I guess you don't have to worry about Gavin Newsom putting up any real solid presidency run.
Under Gavin Newsom, California's state Medicare program has lost 25% of its budget to fraud.
Jeez. Man, they must be mishandling that money. They must not be qualified for their positions. I mean, how do you mishandle that much? Again, going back to Minnesota, Somalia, this has to outrage every single American, no matter where you live. And of course, it's always in these blue states, man. Absolutely disgusting. And we might not even have a competition come 2028. Who do they have left? They're all criminals at this point.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out that it was New York Times a couple of days ago that had pointed out the whole Act Blue fraud thing that we had been talking about for 2.5 years, that money was coming in from FTX and the crypto money coming in from Ukraine, and then that whole deal with the crazy, what's his name, Sam Bankman-Fried, and obviously China, the credit cards coming in that they didn't need to qualify, just needed the number. Yeah, they started talking about that a couple of days ago, and I thought that was quite weird that they finally caught up to it.
Coincidence? Well, and Hulk too. That makes you wonder what's so bad that's going on in Louisiana, because they're on your heels, dude. 48.3 billion, and then Indiana's 47, Colorado.
No,
46,
these are showing these are the budgets for the entire state of what they spend on Medicare. The top one in red is showing you how much California loses every year.
What? Huh. They lose more than people. Jeez, that's
so they lose more than Louisiana entire state spends on Medicare.
Dude, you want to explain to me how Rhode Island is, a little bit lower than halfway when my state is 45 minutes east to west, north to south? How is that possible in a state that small? Yeah, dude, you can if there was no traffic, you could drive north to south in 45, maybe 50 minutes, and for me, roughly the same east to west.
It's like from here to Disneyland.
Yeah, so when I say I got to go to the store quick, like literally I can go to the store and be back in like 7 minutes.
Well, I got a Walmart across the street. So
that's key. That's good to have.
Where else are we going here? I thought this was interesting right here. NBC News comes out. More than 400 hospitals across the U.S. are at high risk of closing or cutting services because of Medicaid cuts in President Trump's big, beautiful bill, according to analysis of progressive watchdog, blah, 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 blah. Here, read this, what Mark Cuban said.
Why aren't any of these at-risk hospitals publishing their full accounting so everyone can see what they spend, where they spend their money? All but one group of hospitals that I've looked at potentially investing in spend so much on consultants and fees that it's no wonder they're at risk. Plus, I have never seen an industry that is worse than hospitals when it comes to buying medications and items like implants, screws, and other devices. They're overpaying for everything. And then, when you show them how to save money, their, quote, supply chain employees resist any change. They are so set in their ways, it's a shock more don't go out of business. Prove me wrong. Well, dude, that supply chain deal right there, when you have the employees resisting any change, well, it makes you wonder, well, we're paying, crazy amounts. We're overpaying on all this stuff. Yeah, is that, person that's in the supply chain, the procurer, is that person getting kickbacks in probably every one of those hospitals? I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and he pointed out, just show your accounting of what you spend all your crap on. It'd be easy that way after that. Don't worry about it. And, of course, we're putting the screws to them just for them to post what they're charging for services online so we can compare it from hospital to hospital. Oh, it's just so great. See, Mark Cuban could be right every once in a while, right?
Yeah, he's a dork, but yeah, he's pretty smart.
What else do we got over here?
Politics suck.
Okay.
Homeless
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of this because this ties back into California.
Roberto Samity walked out of Brooklyn federal court in silence after his arraignment. He's one of 4 people now facing charges in a corruption investigation tied to the city-funded homeless shelter organization, Braggs. Federal prosecutors say Samity and another defendant, Ronald Jean Torellis, stole more than $1 million from the taxpayer-backed nonprofit. They now both face several charges, including wire fraud and embezzlement. The indictment, unsealed Tuesday, drawing swift reaction from Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
We'll definitely be looking into these because any allegation, especially if it's being substantiated, of improper action and behavior is one that has to be followed up on.
Prosecutors say the shelter leaders steered contracts worth millions of dollars to favored vendors controlled by Eduardo St. Fort and Miguel Jorge in exchange for bribes and kickbacks. Jorge was also arraigned Tuesday. St. Fort will be arraigned at a later date. Both face program.
So lots of these fraud departments and stuff coming in. Where was the other half of that? There was another. Oh, I didn't put it together. Bill, our guy that we've been following from California over there, made a big announcement and that this was kind of in junction with what was happening in a short order of New York we just showed you, and then plus what's happening in California and their big fraud thing that they're running through now. And it continues to operate. So they said that they hit 11 out of the 22 so far, and they still got more to go. So that's good things to see happen, that at least some of this fraud is coming around and being exposed, and people are being arrested and at least sent to jail. Let's see if prosecution holds. Because under J.D. Vance, they changed the rule because they had found out that anything about $1.5 million or less, they don't go and charge you federally for. They're like, no, we're going after all those, and that's why they put somebody in charge of that and just read him over the DOJ to go after some of these things. So, and they just attached a deputy underneath him too. So let's see how far they go with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing fraud at levels we've never. I'm starting to sound like Trump. At levels we've never seen before. It's out of control. I mean, but it is being exposed finally, and for the world to see, and the whole country to see. That part's good, right?
Yep. I don't know if anybody saw this story. I've been kind of following it around to figure out what's exactly going on with this one. But there was a bomb plant in front of one of the Navy bases or Army bases and stuff like that. And they tried to actually hurt people, and people escaped out of the country itself. But Space Shot, read this what this woman did.
Alrighty then. Chinese woman used ChatGPT to help her brother flee to their homeland after he planted a bomb outside of Florida Air Force Base. Alan Zhang, 20, allegedly placed an IED outside MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa on March 10th. His sister, Anne Mary Zhang, 27, it sounds like real Chinese names, huh? Tried to help him using ChatGPT. Prosecutors said she asked ChatGPT about obtaining a Chinese visa, transferring property into the brother's name, and researched Chinese schools he could attend. Also accused of disposing evidence in the days after the failed bomb plot, which targeted the base's visitor center but did not detonate. Detained on March 17th.
Just think about this. It's fine, the rest of the stuff, but ChatGPT didn't allude to that these people were trying to do any of this stuff. I'm not all into the spying thing, but ChatGPT itself has been responsible for 20 deaths of people committing suicide and issues they're running into. And these people are using it to do a plot inside the United States to injure service members and then escape the country, and nobody was warned.
That's bananas, dude. Dude, actually, I was going to send this and I just forgot to send it. Did you hear about the Claude exposure the other day? Maybe 3 or 4 days ago? That was crazy, too. Maybe we'll cover it on Saturday.
I do have it over here at the left because there's some other stuff that had come out with that, too. Space Shot, read this for everybody. Down here at the bottom. Actually, read the guys up here at the top because there's been some comments in the Supreme Court.
Alrighty, Anteater Lander says, this is crazy. Apparently, you can take a cruise ship full of pregnant foreigners, park it within 14 miles of the U.S. coast, and all the resulting babies will be American citizens without even stepping foot on U.S. soil. U.S. law holds that natural persons born on foreign ships, docked at U.S. ports, or born within the limits of the U.S. territorial waters are U.S. citizens. An important exception to this rule is children born to people who, quote, in line with the 14th Amendment, are not, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, e.g. foreign diplomats accredited with United States Department of State or invading enemies, foreign enemy forces. Wow. Dude, that's bananas.
Yeah, just to throw that out there a little bit there. What else did I want to throw in here? And just remember, last week, week and a half ago, they voted that if you do fraud, a welfare fraud, you get deported out of the United States. So just kind of limit of what we're finding out with a lot of the fraud we're into, they did vote that in, and you will get expedited out of the country itself. So just to put that there. What else did we want to throw in there? Yeah, the JD Vance, because they're already after the fraud, because they talked about this last week, and they've been going full force this week. That's why we saw the action of the FBI out of Los Angeles. And then again, we got somebody that's going to be the assistant AG in the system itself. So we got two people that are in there right now. So that was the other fraud there. What else did we want to pop in over here?
And Hulk, did you want to tell the folks the good news? That, you know,
that
everybody here can commit $1.4999 million in fraud, and you're pretty good to go still, right? Isn't that what JD said?
No, they changed. No, they changed that. They changed that. Yeah. As soon as they put together that commission, that's the first thing they changed, and they're going after all fraud. I don't know how low they're going to go. I'm not sure they're stepping over $100 bills, but they're definitely going to make sure they start at the 1.5 million and lower, and see what they can get versus walking right over that. JD Vance Anti-Fraud Task Force is not holding back. They're now investigating most expensive welfare programs, minimum fraud enforcement, $2 trillion in Medicaid, Medicare, the $101 billion in SNAP, $100 billion in SBA loans, the Small Business Association, guys, that's another huge thing they're going after. $64 billion in public housing, because remember, they were giving out all the free housing for the illegal immigrants staying in the hotels. Remember that, $500 a night hotel rooms. $43.5 billion in unemployment insurance, because they were just giving that, plus Social Security assistance. And then $16 billion in needy families. That's the food program that they're running, which pretty much all that stuff stopped on April 1st. And that's why California is having a problem feeding a lot of the illegal immigrants, because they got to rely on private funds now, because you can't use federal funds anymore. So some good things happen on the 1st, at least. So crazy.
Interesting that he picked yesterday to do a speech on too, right? Like, I was so not expecting him to do a speech on April Fool's night of all nights. But dude, that is a crazy amount of fraud. And again, right? Take all this fraud and all the money that they're using to fight against Trump. Just imagine if that money was put to good. Like, what kind of an oasis would this world be right now? Everybody would be living in absolute happiness and freedom and have absolute excess. But no, there's greedy people out there.
Go ahead and read this.
Okay. Doge alert. The U.S. Treasury has officially launched the Office of the Whistleblower. If you see fraud happening in your community, please report it. You can receive up to 30% of the recovered funds as a reward. It's going to take all of us to put an end to the fraud. Dude, I'm going down to downtown Providence this weekend. I'm going to start looking around for me some daycare centers and some leering centers. If I can find some of that, dude. Woo.
Dude, California just ended up. Yeah, California just ended up being the learning center state, in my opinion.
The whole thing is just one big leering center. Come to California to leer.
Yeah, pretty much, dude, is what we're getting into over there. Okay, so again, I had talked about that New York Times. This is also John Solomon talking about the money coming back into the Democratic Party from the Ukrainian officials, from the USAID money, which was really FTX and Act Blue and those sort of things. So he's talking about the same situation, $200 million directly funneled into the Biden administration for the re-election campaign. We knew it's a lot more than that. So we'll wait for more of it to come out. It seems like he's got a lot more inside baseball than a lot of our DOJ and FBI guys have been telling us here. But again, we haven't seen the baby yet. We're still waiting to see the baby. They talk about it. They tell us how big it is and how beautiful it is, but time to rip the Band-Aid off of it and show me the baby.
It's tough to hit a moving target. We'll see what the next, rendition of the Attorney General that gets in there would be. See.
That was 25%. We already covered that on the Gavin Newsom's fraud. What was this one right? Oh, here, let's check into California really quick in the local mail office.
It's unbelievable that this post office is even open. Customers maneuvering around trash and homeless encampments. The image is shocking. So this is the entrance to the post office right here. Disturbing conditions right outside this downtown LA post office, somehow still open, surrounded by trash. Mounds of garbage flooding the parking lot, old TVs, stripped copper wire, and rats. You know what it's like out here?
Girls and no work.
Some people living here for years.
Dude, there, drop your mail off over there. Go to your P.O. box and buy some stamps over there. Just want to show you how well California is, dude. And it's absolutely crazy what these people have out there and the stuff that they collect. Just, good Lord.
Well, and that's
remember,
affordable when you think about it, right? Like that's what, no one ever wants to be homeless, but if they allow this, it's cheaper than rent, it's cheaper than, all that stuff. So people have found a way. It's like Jurassic Park again, but these are too many people, man.
Need to send them home. So that's going down there. What else did I want to throw in here at the other end of this? Okay, I want to still remind everybody that the Rob Bonta is still having that case over with our sheriff. He's running for governor? Sheriff Bonita.
Bianco.
What's his name?
Chad
Bianco. Yeah. Remember, they have verified that the county recorder's office, in his handwritten notes, actually detail the lack of votes, and then the actual mechanical and digital ones that they can look at shows an extra 45,000 votes. So the information coming out is getting bigger, that even the election officials itself, they had the right total, but for some reason thereafter, because this was all part of the initiative for Prop 50, so they could do the redistricting in California. Remember that whole deal? So that whole thing is now falling apart here at this point. And hopefully they can get it approved and then throw Prop 50 out the door and we don't get a redistricting in California. We'll see. Isn't that crazy? I find that nuts.
Dude, at this point, it's like information overload right at this point. So it's just like, oh, it's almost like, run of the mill, par for the course type of stuff that we're seeing recently anyway.
What else do we got? Secretary of State's updated the initiative for voter ID on the November ballot. We're at 82%. The last time that we got this close, that was the one to remove Gavin Newsom from the office. And then they played all those weird games, and then Gavin Newsom ended up staying, and it didn't happen, where they cheated it. So we'll see if this holds out there as we get to more of this stuff out there. So what else do we got out here? The other thing that's coming out, if anybody's been following James O'Keefe, he's been kind of following the same thing Nick Shirley's been doing about showing the fraud between Yak Blue and the stuff that's happening out of California. He's saying a couple of his team members are actually giving testimony to the DOJ here at this point. So as witness testimonies in some of their undercover operations that they haven't announced yet. So we'll see what happens. He says he's not going to stop and continue to. But again, like we've said before, we need to see the baby. He wants to see arrest too. We'll see if we get there. So I think James O'Keefe is doing great. It's just he's got a lot of info and putting stuff out, and we just don't see any action.
And that's got to kill him, because he really goes all out when he does his investigations. And the fact that there's no follow-up, there's no Department of Justice, and there's no justice at all, again, makes every one of us kind of want more and more. And doesn't matter where you are in this, the truth has to come out. And Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, they're leading the way. And this is great. This is, Nick Shirley. This is the future of our country depends on the citizen journalism to uncover this kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah, just remember that the FBI under Biden raided his house looking for Ashley Biden's diary, talking about showering with her dad. naked in the shower. Yeah, good times. Right. What else do we want to go through here? Oh, I would like to point this out also here. Just things to point out. If anybody remembers this particular video where these homeowners found this guy setting the hillside on fire that led to a big fire, not the big one for the Palisades, the one before that, and they arrested this guy being an illegal immigrant, and he was in jail for a long time. Well, California just released him on Thursday, and then ICE picked him up, and then they're going to deport him. But this guy's walking around in California on a windy day with a freaking blowtorch in his hand, lighting stuff on fire, being an illegal immigrant. And people are freaking out over it, and they called police, and he was arrested. So, yay. Just crazy stuff that California does.
They didn't even need Antifa's help to set those fires, unless he was part of it.
Yeah, here, you can read this one for everybody, Mr. Space Shot.
Yeah, I'll have Juan on tomorrow at 12. He'll be talking a little bit about this as well. But Colorado Appeals Court throws out Tina Peters' 9-year prison sentence. Trial court violated her free speech right. Free Tina Peters. But as
So
far
they
as
didn't.
I don't know what's going on beyond that. Don't they have?
They didn't appeal the case. They were trying to appeal the case 100% with the information that they had. The appeals court says, no, we're not going to discredit the case by giving her 9 years for leaking a so-called password for the freedom of speech type of thing, our First Amendment. That's not a good idea. So we're going to kick it back down to you, and you need to give her a different sentence, and then hopefully they just give her time served and kick her out. We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's what's happening with Tina.
Yeah, Polis actually said something a few months back that basically, it should be looked at again. She should be given another chance to look at it. And maybe it's something to do with Trump removing some of the funding, because he did something, I don't know, like last week they removed funding out of Colorado for something else as well. Maybe he's playing that game with I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably housing and illegal immigrant stuff. They're holding back funding on a lot of that out there. I thought this was interesting. California man, Khan is the last name, sentenced to 3 years after police discovered 41 sealed and completed mail-in ballots when searching his home. He had like 71 other identifications, all listed with him, with mail-in ballots all on top of him. They only charged him for the 41 that were sealed and completed ballots, though. They gave him 3 years for that. 71 other identities that he was doing voting on.
That's totally normal, right? Everybody.
Why would you do that? You must love You must love your party if you're going to go that far. Jeez, right? How does this happen?
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Speaking about election things, here, Space Shot, read the top right there.
Certainly. Trump-endorsed John Maples has refiled to run for the Florida House seat, where a liberal elections volunteer got arrested for stealing an encrypted access key and computer equipment. Let's effing go. He has a better chance in November when the average Republican knows an election is happening. Maples only lost by 800 votes, roughly, in the District 87 special election on March 24th, which includes Mar-a-Lago. Win this seat back and make sure the election is secure. Heck yeah.
So this guy right here, he got arrested being an election office volunteer guy for trying to sneak out the door with an encrypted, remember those encrypted little USB keys that were, 4 of them disappeared over there, and I think that was Pennsylvania, and then the tabulator at the same time, laptop that you program all disappeared, and everybody's like, I don't know where it went. Well, that guy got busted with that stuff. And then they're like looking at the election, they're like, I think we should redo the election.
Just a quinky dink.
Just a quinky dink. So little things are happening, nothing on a grand scale or anything like that. Oh, yeah, you might as well throw this out there because Boston's reaching for the fence.
I'm going to cover up our address on here, but my husband just got a little postcard, handwritten, but postmarked from Boston.
It says, vote yes on the April 2nd special election, blah, blah, blah. Don't vote for the Republican, vote for the Democrats. So I thought that was interesting. Volunteers are sending handwritten notes to Republican voters.
MAGA's trying to rig the midterm elections, stop the chaos, and fight back. Vote yes in the April 21st special election to support new temporary congressional maps. Yeah, how about no?
Wait, the Democrats are trying to redraw the congressional maps to make sure that they can win? Oh, okay. I got that. So vote for them.
Dude, the fact that they're saying that MAGA's going to rig the election, like enough of the projection. Like, can't you come up with something more original? Like, what is that? Come on, that's ours. Can't take it.
So another interesting thing, they've signed an executive order to deal with election integrity. So they're using the post office and those the little prints that are printed digitally on the actual election on the envelope itself. So they all have to have those things printed on them when they reach into the United States Postal Service system and seeing it tracked and where it actually ends. If it doesn't have that number on there, then they're going to kick the vote out. And then, of course, everybody on the other side is freaking out. The Democrats and said, that's bullshit. It's all legal. We're going to see President Trump in court. They're playing all those games. Even Nancy Pelosi's doing the same thing over here. Trump wants this to go to the Supreme Court because he's having troubles of getting Congress to do it. Okay, I'm going to write an executive order. We're going to push it that way. And then have the Supreme Court have to rule on who has authority about setting on if you have to be a legal immigrant or not a legal immigrant to vote in a federal election. What do you think?
So they need to fix this crap, and I think we're going to get more stuff passed through before the election happens. But it's not going to be like it was. I mean, dude, you remember even in California, there were certain ballots that they were sending out in the mail that you could tell whether the person was Republican or Democrat. So it's like, oh yeah, toss this one, save this one, toss this one, save this one.
I'm sure we're going to see more.
His executive order the other day, they said it's going to be barcoded, and they're saying it's going to be more difficult for them to screw with these anyway.
Yeah, we'll see how the state secretary of office handles a lot of these things, because that's where it's going to fall under. Let's see what the courts decide, but we got plenty of time to get it to where we need to. What else do we got? Oh, about the Supreme Court stuff that they're running into. Here, read this for everybody. I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, freaking righty then. Per National Mall NPS, representatives of the press are seated in the red benches along the left side of the courtroom. The red benches on the right are reserved for guests of the justices. The black chairs in front of those benches are for the officers of the court, visiting dignitaries, and include a special chair for the President of the United States. Although the president's attendance is rare and limited to important ceremonial occasions.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting because people are going, he's going to show up there. He's not supposed to be there. And everybody's like, dude, there's a chair for the president there. What are you talking about?
For loading and unloading.
Here, you can read this for everybody.
Okay. KJB speaks more than all the male Supreme Court justices combined.
So new numbers up. Look at how much she's actually talking.
What is that? Words spoken. 23,000.
Spoken in the different.
Ow.
Yeah. So just it's interesting where they're getting at and the different arguments that they have put her in. And Judge Clarence Thomas has kind of been quiet over there. Well, let's get into some of the arguments here. Huh?
Everyone on the right side was all the conservatives. Clarence Thomas, Alito, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch. Then you got Roberts, Kagan, Sotomayor, and then Coney Barrett. Wow.
Exactly. What else do we want to get into? Actually, you want to read a little bit of this here at the top?
Yeah, I'd rather not listen to John Sauer talk.
Yeah.
KJB's own Senate, quote, backfires and accidentally hands Trump's legal team the perfect argument to end birthright citizenship. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson tried to bolster the case for broad, quote, born on U.S. soil equals citizen, end quote, interpretation by quoting a 19th century Senate exchange from the 14th Amendment debates. She referenced Senators Fessenden and Wade discussing a hypothetical, a child born in the United States to parents who are, quote, from abroad temporarily in this country. In the exchange, Wade reportedly stated that, quote, a person may be born here and not be a citizen, using the example of children of foreign ministers who are not fully, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. due to diplomatic immunity and lack of allegiance. Jackson then immediately admitted uncertainty, quote, I'm not sure whether though these are senators. I apologize. This moment undermined her entire credibility and preparation. More critically, Solicitor General John Sauer seized the opportunity, pointing out that it actually supports the government's position. The framers of the 14th Amendment clearly understood the, quote, subject to the jurisdiction thereof clause as requiring full political allegiance, not just physical presence on soil. Temporary visitors, diplomats, or those without complete subjection to the United States laws were not intended automatically confer citizenship to their children. Case closed.
Exactly. Case closed. Oh, wait, is this the comment down here? Oh, here. This is an argument she said. Read what the quote's right there.
If I steal a wallet in Japan, I am subject to Japanese laws, in a sense. It's allegiance.
So if I steal a purse in Japan, does that make me a citizen of Japan? Because I'm stealing when I go across their immigration line and try to steal citizenship. Just saying.
Makes her a moron.
What else do we want to get into here? Oh, he says, Breaking Sam Alito explains that unlimited birthright citizenship means a Chinese, Iranian, or a Russian foreigner can have a child in America that the U.S. citizens owes military allegiance to a foreign adversary. So he's been arguing back and forth on there about these different people coming into the country, and they're not really citizens. And he also mentions the amount of fraud and the billionaires with 100 kids and all that. It's all in here. So this is pretty interesting that Trump went down to listen to this, but as soon as the other opposing attorney started cracking up some of the other leftist woke stuff, he got up and left. Didn't want to listen to him. Thought that was great. You had mentioned that everybody's talking about they're trying to steal the election.
We always have concerns, but with this president and these Republicans who have no commitment to the rule of law and doing things the appropriate way, we're ready. We have three purposes now. One is to win the midterms. Two is to make sure the elections are safe. And three, to tell people what we will do when we win. And that is the mission. There's so many things that you can do to protect the election, and they are being done, whether it's litigation or legislation or just mobilization, communication, all of that. But in addition to that, we have to be on guard as to what they may try to do to the technology. They may try to creep into the technology and create a false count.
How do you guard against that?
Digital false counts. She's saying they're going to steal the election through the machines.
Sounds familiar. Where have you heard this before? Again, they can't come up with their own stories, their own narrative, and their own counter arguments. They have nothing left. Destruction of the old guard in real time. And wow, she is looking rough, dude, like Skeletor.
Yeah. Anybody seen Hakeem Jeffries or AOC?
But he was in a Geico commercial doing the caveman thing. Yeah.
Dude, she was three sheets to the wind right there, bro. She was torched.
Yeah, so should they basically say, don't do the same thing we did in Georgia to us. That would be bad, where we stole the election down there and took 2 Senate seats and screwed everybody.
We want paper ballots. You're right, Nancy. No more electronics. Let's go to paper ballots. That's the smartest thing she's ever said. Give her another Grey Goose.
Yeah, she's running on vodka. That's all she's got left in those veins.
Promise, get that vodka. As soon as this speech is done, we'll get you right over there.
There, you could read this for everybody, Mr. Space Shot.
Border Chief Greg Bovino opened a new X account at Gregory K. Bovino. He served our country with honor for 30 years. How about a thumbs up and a follow for this American hero? I bet you he's catching crap already.
Well, he had a forced retire. He was supposed to go back to the El Centro district over there, but he was forced retired. And he had made 2 out of the 3 accounts about Border Patrol, this and that. And the administration came in and said, you need to give up those accounts. He said no. So then they shut him off from everything federally and says, until you give those accounts back, you will get no federal support whatsoever, no payments, no nothing, none of your retirement, nothing until those accounts are relinquished, which now they are. The El Centro's turned back over to the U.S. government. He said, it was mine. I earned it. They're like, no, it's an account that you posted officially from. So it's going to stay with that particular department in El Centro. So this is his new account. So you can go follow him there.
Got 38,000 followers already, and he looks like he's following back regular folks too. So I'll drop his thing in the chat for everybody as well.
Yep. So that was going on. A lot of this stuff's out of order. What the hell was I thinking over here? Want to throw this other piece out here for the election stuff that's happening down in Florida right here. Space Shot, would you read everything? Read that on the top?
Sure, but Hulk, is this another infraction against the producer? Do we have to give him a written warning this time?
Exactly. Yeah, we need to fire him.
We're going to talk with Jamie after the show. Breaking.
I got it handled.
Got him. Okay. And don't come back. Coral Springs, Florida, Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen, a Democrat who was preparing to run for Congress, has been found dead in her home. Oh, her husband, Stephanie Bowen, is in custody. Police responded to a wellness check Wednesday morning and discovered her body. Authorities were investigating her death as a domestic violence incident with no other suspects. This is crazy. Damn. Democrat, too.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to see
so
anybody
just an
die.
election. Yeah, election thing. It's just interesting shit that's going on. And I'm not saying anything nefarious is happening, but just all these little stories that we're seeing and putting together, I think is telling us a bigger story that there's a lot more things going on behind the scenes. So we'll leave that out there.
Yeah, craziness.
Hey, I guess we're going back to space. We're back to the moon, around the moon. But I thought that was a pretty cool little photo. So, was it Artemis? What's the name of the thing?
Artemis.
Artemis. So on this side, you have to show up like a day before, drop your camera on the ground, and hopefully it's still there and a bird didn't poop on it or anything with the little sound trigger on there. And then you're able to get this view of this thing launching from this view, and hopefully your camera doesn't get melted. So the toilet is broken is what I'm hearing through the grapevine, but we are going back to the moon. That's out there.
We break a toilet, dude. Seriously.
We're going to talk about that. Here's the slingshot move that they're running for. So you can go back to the very beginning. So they need to make a loop around, and then they're going to do the whole Armageddon thing, and then go out and meet the asteroid, and they're going to put the miners on there, and then they're going to blow up the thing and split it in half so everybody survives.
That is better than this. I'll tell you what. Armageddon, Aerosmith, the black guy from the Green Mile, and Buscemi. It's great.
I had to make fun of it a little bit.
Was the sun array working okay? I know.
What's that?
They said something like was it a sun array? Yeah. Okay. The solar array wings on the Artemis 2 have successfully deployed.
Oh.
So they were saying,
so where are they
literally,
at right now, then?
well, on the way there, they were saying on the way there that they basically would have to turn around if it didn't open up.
Oh, yeah, because they had a problem with the toilet. They had something else, another big problem. Oh, they had the Microsoft laptop crash, so they were asking for tech support, and he accidentally leaked his passcode online for the whole world to see. Yeah.
What?
Oops.
And dude, I just didn't like, how within a minute of it launching, they're showing you like a ground view, and you can see like the bottom of the shuttle or whatever, and so it looks from the ground to be well underneath the clouds, right? And then the very next scene they show you is it's like, oh, it looks like it's in space way above the clouds, and that's like within a few seconds. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell they did or whatever. But you guys know me, I just don't buy anything. Never a straight answer. Never. I don't buy what they say. But
here's the photo that they showed that the toilet's not working. I'm like, what the hell does this show me? What is this? Frozen? Well, what am I looking at? And then this guy actually explains what it is, so I figured I might as well show you.
Crazy thing about the toilet is that even though it's in the floor, once you're in there, you don't have a clue. You have no idea whether you're in the floor or which way your head's facing or anything. You could be floor, ceiling, wall, doesn't matter. Now, one interesting thing is, yes, it's in the floor, but bye guys, I got some business to take care of. See ya. Once we're in here, a couple things become important. You need handholds because you're just floating up all over the place. You need to keep yourself down on the toilet seat. Also, you can't tell which way is up. And finally, all of this wild orange foam is actually taped over insulation because our toilet is a little bit on the loud side. So you have to wear hearing protection when you're in here, but we're making that work. We're making that work. It's just another thing we have to coordinate with each other.
Hearing protection to use the bathroom. So yeah.
Nasal protection, perhaps. This lid is not load bearing, huh?
Keep reading.
When lid is up, the UWMS mock-up seat safe working load is 200 pounds. Hopefully nobody's taking a 200-pound dump. No, I know.
Well, if you do, it's going to come right back at you, dude. It's gravity. So once it comes out, it comes right back. What kind of anti-gravitics does this toilet have?
Hopefully, like some
yeah,
sort
look
of
at that
suction.
toilet hole, dude. That looks dangerous.
It's like
dude,
Dave
imagine sitting on
Matthews'
that.
bus.
How would you sit on that thing, though? Seriously, like,
I
I'm being
can't
dead
aim,
serious for a
dude,
minute.
so I'm going to piss all over that seat. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah, and maybe it's got some suction inside because, like you said, dude, if you pee or poop, it's just going to start floating up.
That's an ultimate nightmare. Forget the boogeyman. That's
It's the suction. It's got a vacuum that keeps running. So I guess they might have a problem with the sucking part that is there. Just to throw this out here for everybody out there, because America's great.
I love this.
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the freaking moon. That's why.
It was freaking. He said freaking. But they did. The guy that runs NASA over there now found this post over there. He said, "Oh, that man deserves some swag. It's on its way."
That's awesome. Because of the United States of America, God damn it. That's why.
So we did get pictures back from the people out in space as they're making their way to the moon to kind of show the whole picture out there. So I just wanted to share some of this with you really quick. So that's what they had found out there, reporting from the spacecraft, taking a picture there.
No, that's not accurate. The moon's not supposed to be flat.
It's not supposed to be flat?
No, only us Earthlings are being fooled. No one else, just us.
But that one's for a space shot.
See the cats on the end knocking all the people off?
Yeah. So long as we're in space already, you guys hear what Matt Gaetz had to say about this?
Oh,
he's out of Congress now.
I think the most important information will be the biologics that are not human that have been discovered. And like even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication.
You mean like Hitler and Epstein and...
An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group members of Congress to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved.
So, yeah, so those stories are going around over here. It's also coming out from the other UFO guys that are talking about that they're not aliens, they're demons. That story's still coming back out again. And, you know, digging more into this story about these breeding programs is, you know, from what the people I'm hearing is the breeding programs have always been there well before any of us was ever paying attention. The United States government found out about it and they're like, oh, you can do that with this and get this out of that, then enhance this particular ability or that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and work with you guys. That's supposedly what I'm hearing. And then the aliens went off and did their own thing, but allowed evidently 3-letter agencies to start going into some of this stuff. That's what also I think Paul Luna is talking about over here.
Paulina Luna. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Burchett.
she's saying the same exact thing, but him and Tim Burchett, they're both saying, well, since Matt Gaetz is not no longer in Congress, there's some things I can't comment on, especially the breeding programs that you're asking about. They said I can't talk about that. Are you discrediting what he's saying? And he's all, nope, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I just can't make any comment on that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I wonder why why Matt Gaetz can make a comment and why, because he's in Congress. Like, I wonder if there's you would think you couldn't say anything ever, right? I didn't know if it was like a fine or something like that for saying it, but Burchett made it sound like, I don't want to say it. I'm still, I can get in trouble. But yeah, Burchett, Luna, and Gaetz are all kind of saying the same thing. And, who is helping POTUS? I said it earlier in another show. Are we talking like military? Are we talking God?
The
Are
good
we talking
aliens or the bad aliens?
Yeah, we want to be friends with the good ones, the most strong ones anyway.
Yeah, so they're all saying basically the same thing. So that was basically those 3 clips. They're all kind of gravitating around there itself. And I just wanted to point some of this stuff out there for AI data centers and whatnot there. It just happened to run by this particular video that Meta is developing an AI data center that's being constructed in Florida. So, dude.
I'm taking this video so that people can understand,
So this, we're not gonna play the whole thing.
This is
3.5 minutes, 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
This is the farmland that you're driving through.
So I'm just gonna go forward a little bit here. So
it's literally like lights.
So that's 1 minute and 30 seconds is where construction starts. It still goes one data center that they're building as she's driving, 40 miles an hour maybe? It goes on for over 2 minutes.
Drove this,
look at all the little lights you see out there as they're doing construction.
It made me so emotional because I haven't been this way.
There's 30 seconds ahead. We're still driving. She hasn't stopped.
And it just keeps going.
There's another 30 seconds.
And more. And more. And I don't know if you read in my comments, if someone read in my comments, but allow me to say that this Meta AI data center that they are putting in here, that's taking up all this beautiful farmland that we will never be able to replace. The beautiful AI center that they're putting in here that's still building, that I'm still recording, it's only going to employ 1 to 500 people. So all this for about the seems pretty.
It's still going.
It stops finally.
That's crazy. Yeah,
it's huge.
I heard people, what was it, something like 120 grand or 150 grand electricians are being paid to put up the data center wirings.
More than that.
Well,
they're probably getting a lot more for that.
This is just the one post I saw somebody on like X saying or whatever along the way. Okay, do you want to do a Rumble wallet deal quickie?
Let me go take a quick looky here.
Ronski, I don't know if you want to double down on this.
Yeah,
one.
we can definitely do the Rumble wallet. Should I hit the button?
Hey, where'd it go? Hold on. Yeah, well, yes, please. Yep. Go
Hitting button. Accepting.
Break for 30 seconds.
Love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Whoop. Here's a little inside scoop that many creators are talking about behind the scenes. It's actually one of the reasons I'm using Rumble. They made a way to super chat creators so we get paid immediately and without taking any fees. YouTube and Twitch take up to 50% of the fees when you tip creators. This method takes none. That's right, the platform takes 0 fees. I keep 100% of what you send me. You can super chat with Bitcoin, Tether USD, or even Tether Gold stablecoins. The tip will show up directly on the Rumble chat, which I'll do my best to read. All you need to do is download the Rumble wallet on the App Store and send the tips to your favorite creators. You can head over to wallet.rumble.com, or you can download it from the App Store directly. Seriously, what an amazing way to get rid of the middleman and help the creator economy. And shout out to Rumble for making this disruptive technology available.
Break for 30 seconds.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Space Shot. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for giving us a second to do that, as I'm trying to make sure I have a place to live going forward. And again, greatly appreciated the gifted subs from Bone Tip earlier. Things are getting wild out there. Things are getting wild out there. Dude, is it like for you guys? Because for me, it's like information overload. It's been, and I think I've said it, I think it's going to get exponentially worse and worse as far as all this information. And I think it had to kind of be laid out this way, because if you get it all at once, it's just going to be like in one ear and out the other.
Here, you can read this for everybody, Mr. Space Shot.
Okay. Several senior Trump officials, part of the so-called God Squad, voted Tuesday to overturn long-standing Endangered Species Act protections in the Gulf of Mexico. Several high-ranking Trump officials make up the God Squad, exempting all oil and gas drilling. It's an outcome environmentalists fear could spell doom for the critically endangered Rice's whale, a species that only exists in the Gulf and has just 50 whales left in existence. The God Squad is a panel of 6 high-ranking federal officials on the Endangered Species Committee that has the ability to decide exemptions in the Endangered Species Act. It earned the name because the committee has the power to play God. It literally has the power of life or death, said blah, 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 blah. It can grant exemption that would actually result in the extinction of a species. The rice whale? Did it? Yeah, honestly, have you ever heard of the rice? Yeah, me neither. Never. Anybody
Have you ever heard of the God Squad? I've never heard of the God Squad, but it's a thing.
It's pretty cool, though. I'll tell you what, it's a t-shirt.
Like it better than their squad.
Yeah, here we do got issues. I had to dig into this one right here. It's anybody want to read that?
First Valero refinery, now largest U.S. gasoline pipeline, damaged in Georgia, guys. Right there, boom time. Valero gasoline, the refinery.
Oops. Third party doing work in the area hit the line that holds all the fuel that feeds it to the West Coast and spilled a whole bunch of gallons, so they had to shut down the pipeline. So now, for the last few days, this happened on April 1st. It hasn't come back up yet, but they should have it up. But they did point the finger at the third party working in the area caused issues. So, yay.
That is crazy, dude. And, dude, actually, hey, Rumble Wallet, as we're talking here, dude, I just got a notification on my phone. It's saying that there's something about to be loaded into my Rumble Wallet. Somebody, and I'll read it in a minute, but apparently somebody just sent me 0.000 something Bitcoin, which I, again, will read. But somebody's using it, so very cool. And that's your own wallet to use and not get shut down.
Yay. What else do? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to throw this out. I'm going to throw this out right here because it's the stuff he says. It's interesting.
Who do you think leads the Democratic Party today?
Oh, we don't have one. I think the TDS. I think that's the leader right now. Right now our party is governed by the TDS. And now it's made it virtually impossible without being punished as a Democrat to agree something's good, or I agree with the other side. And I would define that by epic fury. I am literally the only Democrat in America in Congress that I've come across that's saying, I think it's a great thing to break and destroy the Iranian regime. I think it's entirely appropriate to hold them accountable. And what's strange to me that every single Democrat that's run for president and anyone that I know in Congress says we must never allow them to acquire a nuclear bomb. When that happens, why not celebrate that or acknowledge that? I have only witnessed just criticism and this kinds of attack. Like, yeah, you don't have to agree on every single thing, but when a good thing happens, just because it comes from the different party, that tells me that you're choosing the demand of the base or the party over country or what's really, I think, appropriate in that circumstances.
He's calling out his own party, dude, for Trump derangement syndrome.
Well, that was never really his party when you think about it. I mean, we always thought that he was on our side. We were waiting for him to flip at one moment. And again, this kind of, speech, this kind of idea that he's coming up with is going to help, voting for us, of course, in November. But at the end of the day, if you can't see what's happening right in front of us, then, 4 to 6% lost forever. But finally, Uncle Fester is speaking some truth, and only a matter of time. And maybe him and Jim Jordan can go shopping at Men's Warehouse one day.
Oh my God.
Get him a jacket.
Oh God.
Give a jacket, a new hoodie.
Who's the leader of the Democrat Party? That thing on my neck. We all go talk to him, Kwong. That came through, and thank you very much to JD Perkins 513. Dropped a Rumble Wallet $5 donation through Bitcoin. I don't know how he did it, but he nailed that one perfectly. 0.00007509 Bitcoin equals $5. Thank you very much, dear JD Perkins.
All right. What else do we got for you? Oh, Youth of America. So this was out here. This came up from the Blaze. They're asking about the Straits of Hormuz.
Isn't it a little bit homophobic that we're so focused on the Straits of Hormuz and not the Gates of Hormuz?
Yes, I agree. Yes, for sure.
Why do you think they're willing to leave the Gates of Hormuz behind?
I think it's just historically, gays have always been very discriminated against, which is wrong on so many levels.
Even in war.
Yeah, even in war. It just takes more reform in government, obviously, and then also educating society.
I just feel like if we're going to go in there, we can't leave the gay people behind. I don't think we should go in there at all, but if we're going to, the Gates of Hormuz, we could turn it into Fire Island.
For sure.
Isn't it a little bit
Oh my God, I'm dying, dude. And dude, the worst part is I don't even say half these, probably 80-90% of the people don't even know what the hell they're doing there. It's like, oh, there's a pile of people. Don't you think we should worry about this? The gays? Like, yeah, I totally do. Like, oh my word.
And he has that Barat approach, like he's not sure, and they don't want to call him out. This is all scripted for TikTok. But nonetheless, these libtards are absolutely retarded, and this certifies it and solidifies it. Dummies, the Straits or the gays? Again, Richard Grinnell, he's out there on a cruise ship right now trying to change that name.
Yeah, exactly. What else do we got? Throw out there. Operation Fury, that was his big speech that he had done. I thought this was funny. Tron, you want to read this for everybody?
Yeah, guys, here's a banger replying by Elon Musk. From a reasonable man, we should give nuclear weapons to Japan. And some Japanese guy says, it arrived twice, but the shipping method is way too American. Next time, pack it carefully, all right? Banger.
I thought it was funny, dude. I wanted to throw that out there. These are potpourri here at the end as we're getting kind of the end of this thing. U.S. secured rare earth supply from Brazil that's been hanging out, and they weren't sure if they were going to get it. Basically, a part of a $565 million deal. It's a loan. We're going to give you money. We get access to your rare earth deal down there in Brazil, which is under Lula over there, if anybody's paying attention, for the leftists that won against Bolsonaro, who recently he has health problems, but recently they decided to drop all charges against him for doing that whole insurrection they had down in Brazil, and they did the whole thing January 6th and here in the United States, but in Brazil. So that's interesting things that are happening. Shortly after this deal was done, that he got dropped prosecution.
Heck yeah.
What else do we got?
Hey, I'm hearing too, Hulk, that they're saying that some company has extracted rare earth minerals from the bottom of the ocean as well.
That I haven't heard of.
Yeah, one company did it, and they said actually it would probably be enough to supply the world for as long as you could think of. Essentially, I'll see if I can find that clip for you.
Yeah, I wanted to throw this on top is to put it in here because Idaho I thought was always a red state out there, but they're refusing to work with Army Dillon to get the voter roll set over there so they could take a look at them. We know that other states are already fighting back, like New Mexico, Arizona, California, which are still going through, but they had to go do this to Idaho, which I thought was weird, but let them go for it. Here's another interesting story. I don't know if you guys anybody had seen this about the Kit Kat stolen chocolate bars here. Mr. Space Yacht, would you want to read some of that?
Chocolate bars? Someone stole 12 tons of Kit Kats? 413,000 bars from a truck in Europe. Kit Kat responded by launching a stolen Kit Kat tracker where people can enter the batch code on their chocolate bar to see if it came from the missing shipment. The stolen bars were Formula One themed Kit Kats. Well, that's easy enough to
find. They were going like to Poland to somewhere else, but they say, 100% absolutely true. They weren't faking it. Check the code at the bottom and they want to track where these things show up for these special edition F1s.
It was me. I thought there were golden tickets in there. I heard that the Venezuelan one was a fake and I went for the gold. And these are special editions. Those European Kit Kats taste so much better than the trash we have in America. So if anyone wants any, I'll PayPal friends and family right over here.
Never tried.
And I also like to point out that Reese's has said as of recently in 2027, they're going back to their original formula for chocolate and Reese's stuff. So no more fake chocolate and fake peanut butter.
Those are gross too. They stick to everything, those Reese's. And again, if we're going to have the alien invasion, we got to have the pieces of the Reese's. So bring it legit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here's another interesting one. Tron, read this.
Guys, check it from a Michael Waller. In federal court today, FBI examiner says that former U.S. Capitol officer turned CIA employee Shawnee Kirkhoff failed polygraph when asked twice if she planted the J6 pipe bombs. FBI polygraph examiner noted her very controlled reaction and seemingly rehearsed response.
Yeah, remember they charged the other person for it, and they said that this is the person they're doing? Yeah, the black guy. But then they were asking her, and she failed the polygraph twice of saying, did you put the bomb there? And remember, everybody was talking about, it's this lady. We found her on the film, and, the whole Blaze media and, sending the dude to jail because they had to get special permission from Speaker of the House, the slick dude we talked about earlier. And there was like only 3 people that were allowed to go take a look at it. And the one guy from the Blaze media is like, dude, it's an FBI person. Yeah, good times. There was a Capitol Police officer. That's where it came down to. So, yeah, she failed her polygraph. So let's see what that turns out to for the whole January 6th bombing thing. What else do we got? Here, you want to read the other half of this one too, Mr. Tron?
Yeah, guys, from Kyle Cheney. DOJ is seeking to hold alleged pipe bomber Brian Cole's lawyer in contempt for publicly posting an allegation that former USCP officer Sean Kirkhoff was the true pipe bomber alongside her home address. The defense filing, now removed from the docket, discloses details about DOJ's own review of Kirkhoff's case, but they say the damage has been done and has caused direct threats.
So, yeah. She's saying I lied, and the other lawyer's like, yeah, we know, and then posted it online. But that normally doesn't go good for prosecutions. So that's more stuff going down. We can skip that for the router stuff. We'll keep that for Saturday. What else do we want to get into here? Oh, the cloud code. Here, Mr. Space Yacht, would you like to do a little reading for everybody?
Sure. Yeah, I read a little bit about this the other day, and I was like, I know you guys would be very interested in what was going on here. It says, do you understand what just happened to Anthropic? Someone on their team ran a production build of Claude code. The compiler generated a .map file, which is literally a blueprint that reverses the entire code base back to its original source. And then they published it straight to NPM for the whole world to download. It's like locking every door in your house, installing cameras, hiring armed guards, then accidentally uploading your floor plans to Google Maps. This is the same company that told Congress AI is an existential threat. The same company that spent $8 billion building, quote, the most safety-focused lab on Earth. The same company the Pentagon blacklisted as a, quote, supply chain risk because they were supposedly too principled, and they got exposed by a config file that any mid-level engineer would have caught in code review. Wow.
Oops. So huge issues for them. So you can have their entire code source right there of their newest model, and you can go run it at home if you have a big enough computer. Oops. So everybody thought it was in April. What's that?
You need like a lot of juice to actually, you would need a lot of juice to run that?
Yeah, you'll need a pretty big system for that, depending on if you want to run the whole code base. Just as a reminder out there, The turbo quant that came out from Google says they're going to squash the size of the RAM footprint by 8 times or whatever. So the smart guys on the internet, dude, you're going to read this, Mr. Space Shot. So they posted the white paper, and read this for everybody.
The original Turbo Quant paper tested an A100 with models up to 8B. Okay, Hulk, I have no idea what that means at all. Original Turbo Quant.
Keep reading. Okay. Keep reading.
6 days later, a bunch of strangers on the internet had it built and running on Apple Silicon M1 through 5, NVIDIA 3080 Ti through DGX Spark Blackwell, AMD RX 6800 XTs and 9070s, 10-year-old Tesla P40, an 8GB MacBook Air, models from 3.8B to 70B across architectural families. What is it? Billion
lines of codes.
Wow. And 30-plus independent testers. Along the way, we found new optimizations the paper didn't cover and failure modes it didn't test. The fact that a loose group of people across the world can read a paper, build implementations from scratch, stress test across hardware none of us could individually afford, and push the research further in under a week is genuinely one of the best things about this era. The tools, the community make it possible. Open source is something else. And that's what it should be, dude, right? But you have to worry about certain people getting power or tools that would be detrimental to society at large as well.
So, yeah, they were able to run some special AI code over on a 10-year-old Tesla, a P40, like their first gen, just to see if they can do it. And it worked. So, yeah, great for the Anons that reverse engineered what Google had spent years on putting this paper out. They reverse engineered it. I was just amazed. What else are we going? Oh, here's another thing that I wasn't totally aware of. Space Shot, you want to read this?
I sure will. Don't know if I'm getting a double up because Rumble does that sometimes, but I'll thank him again. I think JD Perkins may have sent another $5 by Bitcoin. I just refreshed and it shows it again. So thank you. If you didn't mean to do that, I don't know. But thank you either way. Okay, let me see. So food distributing giant Cisco just spent $29 billion to acquire one of America's largest and low-key restaurant supply firms. Starting in 1976, now 94-year Nathan Kirsch pioneered, quote, cash and carry model in the United States with one Brooklyn location and said, quote, we literally have no competition. Small restaurants and grocers and now caterers buy directly from warehouse whenever they need. No middlemen or delivery keeps prices low. Since 1994, been operated as Restaurant Depot and operates 166 stores across 35 states, making $16 billion in 2025. Cisco usually does large chains, Olive Garden, Wendy's. Why they all taste similar? So, new market. Down 14% on news to $33 billion, $20 billion plus debt to deal with. Ooh.
So it's a little independent food company that for $29 billion, that's a big effing number for Cisco Food and the other one. I can't remember. Swanson is the other one. This was number 3 in the United States, and I had no idea it existed. I just thought it was interesting.
Like in the restaurant business, you have the Restaurant Depot, and that's where you save a little bit. But then again, the Cisco, it runs everything. So you'll be at one restaurant having the gyros and be like, oh, I love these gyros, gyros, whatever you want to call them. And then the next time it's the same at the other place. It's literally the same food, different makeup. And mostly, well, at least by me, they're owned by Greeks. So like the Greek diner, you go in there and the menu just goes on and on forever. It's that Cisco.
Exactly. I think that's about it that I got. Oh, I want to throw this out there. The last little bit of
Look
the
at the
story
bottom
here.
of Tip Secret too, buddy. You wanna? I don't know how new that is. I'm.
You want to read that for everybody?
Oh yeah, and that interview that's at the bottom of Tip Secret. Take a look over that. I just looked at it. It says it was from March 31st, so just a couple days ago.
What, the Warren Buffett?
Yeah, I had not seen that. KTLA. Among the ammunition and weapons stolen and sold, according to the feds, were portable anti-tank Javelin missile systems. U.S. Marine in SoCal accused of stealing, selling war weapons in Arizona. Oh, my word. Are you kidding me?
In more states. They ended up in Mexico, too. So remember when they were talking about that some of those stuff from Zelensky, Ukraine could end up in South America. They also had guys in California over here at Camp Pendleton. They were pilfering a lot of the weapons and then selling them to illegal immigrants who were like Chinese and those types of guys, and then trying to sell them to the cartels. And that's when Border Patrol found it, and they're like, "You're trying to sell this to who? What?" And then they went back and found this guy back inside Camp Pendleton. And there's more. There's like a dozen of them that were doing this. So more's coming, guys.
And those are friggin', those javelins are essentially rockets. They're rocket launchers. They not essentially, they are rocket launchers. And funny, Sean Linane dropped a $5 Rumble rant, says, "No Rumble bot, take my money." So I appreciate that. That was a little jab at the technology. And yeah, dude, this was brand new for me. I had not even seen this. So that's a new one for me. Thank you, Sean Linane.
Well, do you talk about it?
Yeah, well, this is just, well, I don't know if you want to let it play or if you want to just...
It's 4 minutes. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it then. Says Warren Buffett says he has completely cut off Bill Gates and hasn't spoken to him since the Epstein files were exposed. He admits Gates could have brought him to New York to meet Epstein, but he says he's, quote, lucky that never happened. Quote, "I don't want to be in a position where I know things and get called as a witness." Wow.
He knew and didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's interesting.
Crazy. Do you guys remember, and I've covered it 2 or 3 times over the last 6 or 7 years, remember when Bill Gates, quote, computer guy at his house got busted for CP, having lewd images of youngsters on his computer, but for some reason, the police raided him at Bill Gates' house. You guys remember that one from like 2018 or something like that?
Oh, yeah. So they found child porn on Bill Gates' computer in his own house, on his own private residence, but they charged the technician guy
what it sounds like
for
to
having
me.
child porn.
Yeah.
Yep. Just as long as we're keeping score. Okay. What else do we want to go into? The last couple of things. Well, we might as well throw out some stuff over here in Iran. I'm just going to play a couple of clips right here. You guys can kind of pay attention to some of the things they're running into. So here, this is from the analysis from the New York Times, but it's somebody else talking. We'll give it a minute of it.
What you're seeing here are buried tunnel entrances at a nuclear facility in Iran. It's one of the most important sites in the country for US and Israeli forces. UN inspectors think that roughly half of Iran's highly enriched uranium is buried here. And these 3 entrances are the only known ways to access it. If you think about it, actually a pretty large, and that requires tunnels to enter. In a terrain view, it gets quite interesting. There are 3 roads that lead to these tunnel entrances, and these tunnel entrances have become very important both last year but also right now. They lead to the underground facility where UN inspectors...
I was muted there for a second. Let me pull out another clip of this. Just kind of the ballistic storage area that they're talking about.
This guy knows about it, then I would think our military probably does as well, right?
Yeah, just pointing out the different areas. I don't think this is the clip I was looking for. So those are those tunnels that they're talking about in there. And here's the other clip. It says adjacent ridge has 12 more ammo bunkers and 1 massive cave entrance. And they're looking at these different areas that might be a way to get into some of these things. But I was going back and looking at some of the other guys. When this shit gets blown up, these guys are hiding in the inside. They'll just fill a tunnel with concrete and bolt it over and then drill through it in a different area. So a lot of these tunnels get opened up pretty quickly because they'll just cut a new hole, fill the damage area with concrete, and then drill a new hole back out. So whether we're going to go back in on the ground to try to get some of this extra uranium that they're talking about, boots on the ground and making air base and all those sort of things with logistics and not trying to get shot and try to come out with 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium out of this mountain, I'm not entirely sure. It's going to get interesting if they're going to put boots on the ground or not. There's a lot more to it. Iran is definitely blowing up a lot of the stuff in the Mideast and is definitely threatening the rest of the region. And I don't think we should leave. I don't think we can leave. and leave everybody else there to basically deal with the kind of mess we got. I think we need to hang out and get stuff under control before we get there. But I mean, it's not like we drove $1.5 billion and, dropped it off and with some C-17s in cash like Obama did. Or, remember when Iran blew up the Ukrainian airliner before the war started, and everybody's like, why did they do that? Remember all that? So, I mean, there's some track records of stuff that we've ran into, and we know that there's issues, but, you got to remember, Trump's in a spot where it's really tight. It could go bad, it could go good. We've had some success in Venezuela. We've had some issues over in Iran, to be honest with you. And seeing oil starting to creep up, we're starting to see the ramifications of some of that. So we'll see what happens. The thing's not over, but we are seeing changes.
Yeah, I love the speech yesterday, and I mean, the fog of war clearly is upon us, right? And is President Trump going to say things?
Can you give me 30 seconds?
Absolutely. You take a minute. You take 2 minutes, too. We got this. We got you. Get yourself a nice drink, some ice cubes, But yeah, no. So at the end of the day, President Trump comes out, and last week he was like, "Oh, Iran's saying they're going to attack," and he's like, "With what? Where they got toothpicks?" But clearly we're seeing places, and hopefully no civilians are getting killed, but I'm sure they are, unfortunately. But Israel's getting whacked left and right. Some of their neighbors over there are getting whacked left and right, and United Nations did wag their finger at them and tell them, no, don't be mean to your neighbors, essentially. And I think China and Russia, maybe just China, I think one of them basically backed that, basically saying that they shouldn't be doing that stuff, right? But as far as what President Trump said, I can envision an area where we do some more damage and then essentially tell these folks, this is the area that you need to be protecting for yourself, in that we don't need to be the policeman for the world anymore. And that's what we have been everywhere, right? And, President Trump, when he came into office the first time, he's like, listen, we help these people, we help that person, all these people, but they don't pay us to do anything, right? And so, I don't think we should be out there protecting areas if we don't need the oil, right? Why would we be the policeman over there? All those people need to get along with each other. Let you guys protect it. And we had certain areas, like they said, Egypt wanted to talk. Apparently, Pakistan and China are trying to do some back deals as well. And then you'll have half of the people telling you, no, all that stuff is BS and Trump's lying through his teeth and da-da-da-da-da. And the other half are telling you the opposite, that Iran's getting crumbled, this, that, and the other. So the fog of the war, I choose to back my president. And he, again, since he's been in office, has not given me a reason, not giving me even close to a reason to guess his judgment or second guess his judgment. And the last thing I'll say before I kick it to Tron is that, again, watch President Trump's demeanor. Does he look like a dude that is all stressed out, like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on here? Or is he cracking jokes, making fun, having a hell of a time, it seems? That's what it seems like to me. I don't know. Tron, are you seeing the same as me on that aspect?
And what I'm seeing is, American dominance on the world stage. And this is something we haven't seen in a while. Why? Because of that 16-year plan. We're ending these endless wars. We're ending this military-industrial complex, and we're setting our country up and the good guys of the world to come along with us. And 2026, we've been through a lot, guys. I mean, not another 4-year election. That pause was detrimental, but also crucial to the growth of our nation. We can't, go to that next level until we complete what we've set out to do. So, again, I have my full faith in our president. And again, this is Holy Week. God bless each and every one of you guys watching. This Sunday is Easter, and a reminder that we are in biblical times. And just keep your head up, have faith, be encouraged, and at the end of the day, we're going to be okay because we're in good hands. I couldn't say that 12, 15 plus years ago. It was scary, man. And at that point, it didn't really matter who you voted for until Donald Trump came out on the stage and just destroyed everything in its path. So deep state is in panic. And yes, the world might be a little confused right now, but again, once the dust settles, temporary pain, long time pleasure. That's what we're in for.
Yeah, because either way this ends, in the end, God wins. So whether we get through the next couple of years and nothing changes, then we're still in the same spot we were 10 years ago before any of this started. That it's corrupt. There's no way you could stop it. All right, or that we finally be able to win and bring home the gold and see if we can actually make a difference of what this deep state's got control over the world in the United States and the influence. Maybe. We know the system's big. They tried to kill him. They tried to shoot him plenty of times and send him home to Mar-a-Lago for 4 years, but turned back around, and the American public came back around and supported him and go, we're going to give you another try. So let's see the baby, Trump. Right, guys?
Yeah.
I want to see it. That's for sure. We've been waiting. And again, too, to your point, dude, right? I made this point a couple of weeks ago, right? You, me, Tron, all the folks that are listening, and I'm going to add in military, former military, police, first responders, firemen, essentially. Not just like, there's a handful of us. Like, no, there are like tens of millions of us that are wanting to see some change. Like actively up and looking for the next thing to change. And we are saying, hey, there's a crap load of fraud all around the world that we all want to get rid of. And we just want to be left in peace. There shouldn't be any partisan BS where people are fighting back and forth. Let's just, to quote Rodney King, can we all just get along? Can we all just get along? That's what I would hope for.
I agree with that message 100%. So just remember to dig, meme, and pray is the whole big thing, because there are deep state entities that are still in power, still got control. We see them fighting all the time, and we're here reporting on each ones that definitely do come out. But again, the plans change. Scaramucci model, we got change in management, might be good, might be bad. We're going to see what this thing ends at. And everybody came to the support of Pam Bondi. All the right people that I see are supporting her. But where she ends up, good luck. I'm not entirely sure, but she could have handled the Epstein the files. What do they call those files in the very beginning? What would they call that? Phase 1? Yeah, we never saw any other phases.
Right. And again, we don't know what's going on, behind the scenes. She could be a total, basket case for all I know. And she could have been doing things behind the scenes as well. We'll see, right? We'll eventually see what's going on with that. But yeah, got a couple folks to thank over here on the D Lives. Hulk, I'm sure you do on the
Go ahead.
Pilled side as well. But over here on, didn't make it, didn't get to say the funny name today, but top 3 contributors over there on D Live are Patriot, Chick, Rdoc, and P Dancer, and I do appreciate you guys over here. And I'm releasing those rewards. We're coming at you in 28, 27, and counting. And again, thank you. Oh, another one from Sean Linane dropped another 5 and says give at Wheezy Girl some coffee and popcorn, and dropped the $5 Rumble Rant. So thank you for that one. And the other one, Sean, and JD Perkins for the 2 $5 Bitcoins, and then Bone Tip for the 20 gifted subscriptions. Very greatly appreciated from all of you guys. I do appreciate it. And Mr. Hulkinator?
Yeah, I'm going to hit Woke and Walked, Gifted, the Can Happy TOT, God Bless Hulk, Space Shot, Rdoc, Tron, the whole Foxhole fam, California Patriots Rise, Take Back, the recreational fishing, absolutely disgusting. I will be fighting this from the NW Northwest. Out there, I had to take a look at the recreational fishing thing in California. What's going on out there? Also dropped another cookie. Says, I admit I got on the California fishing ban by April Fool's side of Wires to Fish article. Okay, yeah, but thank you for the what is those? Those are cookies out there. Q shook me all night long. Gifted the can. Sean Joe with the can. Sean Joe with a cookie. One Thunder with the can. Tenette Booth gifted a bronze tier subscription to the Pilled site. She gave 1, 2, 3 of those. Thumper Rose claimed 1. Mountain Dog Boy got 1, and Reason 8432 got 1 also. Sanjo gifted the cookie, another cookie. P-Quest with the cookie. Space Shot 76 gifted the ship, my favorite streamer. And I think that's the Dominion
right.
Drips.
You didn't read that right. You didn't read my thing right. Gotta repeat
Space Shot is my favorite steamer.
There you go. That's better. Close enough.
And a Spock cookie down there at the bottom out there. Much appreciated. Final thoughts coming from Tron. Anything you want to throw out there, sir?
Yeah, guys, just an amazing week we had. Again, this is Holy Week. We had this amazing moon journey that looks super fake. And again, I truly believe the best is yet to come. We have to kind of tear it all down and build it back better, as they say. And again, the symbology, Patriots, as we're entering these biblical times, remember faith, family, and each and every one of you guys are the American way. Happy Easter from Sean Linane. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, Dragonfly Sister and JD. Thank you guys so much for your support. We'll do it again next time. Great show, Space Shot and Hulk. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night. It is Friday Funnies. And we're going to do Saturday night, Keeping It Wheel. That's the music show. Get your music ready for that. And then Sunday morning, we're going Easter. We're going to go normal time, probably not run as long, as I'm going to go hit up the church and whatnot with the family. And again, guys, amazing time to be alive. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And we're just getting started. We're not going to stop until this is finished. And it's been an amazing time. Much love, Patriots. Have faith. Be encouraged, dig, meme, and pray. And of course, where we go one, we go all. Good times.
I got a quick question for you, Mr. Tron. Did you say that the launch looked fake?
Well, everything about it until they gave us 3 seconds of a Stanley Kubrick Space Odyssey 2001 when something from the. Did you remember that? Something from the batch hatch fell out.
Are you a flat earther?
No, I'm a.
Okay, I'm cool. You could talk about all the fake shit after that. I'm just making sure how far the retardedness went.
Well, because if everything's fake, like if nukes are fake, space is fake, then why are we here? Like, we might as well call Jack Kevorkian and just end it. Like, seriously, dude, some things have to be real, and sometimes there are more important things than a flat Earth or a round Earth. I want my elections back. I want my country back. And that's more important than what's above or what's below right now. But yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
All right, I'm cool. I'm cool with that, Mr. Space Shot. Your turn.
Sure. Would you like to play this one on the screen at the bottom? Probably not. I'd love to hear your explanation on that one, because I'm showing it on my side as I show folks out on the way out. I just don't understand how you go from being able to see a shuttle in the blue sky to the very next second you can see that same shuttle with multiple clouds underneath it. Doesn't make sense to me. All I'm saying is it looks fake and gay. So we don't need to go on to that too much. But always want to thank the mods who helped myself, these guys, and a bunch of others out there. Your help is greatly appreciated. Big hat tip to Bree, as you guys saw as well. She's going to be working on some of that merch stuff there, guys. If you have any cool ideas, send me an email, spaceshot76@protonmail.com. And we will implement such designs if we can into them. We had some cool ones. I'll flash them on the screen in a little bit as Hulk saying his goodbye. But yeah, it's crazy times as Tron had mentioned there. We're getting into some crazy time, and it is the Holy Weekend. So I do hope you guys have Good Friday tomorrow? I'm so bad with the non, huge holidays. So Easter, Halloween, Christmas, I know those. But Good Friday, I think it is, or Palm Friday, Good Friday. Have a Good Friday tomorrow. I'll be back with Juan at 12, and we're going to be doing from like 12 to 2, and talking a little bit about Tina Peters and some other things as well. So, and then, of course, me and Mr. Hulkinator will be live the following day at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. But yeah, it's going to be a good time as always, and I think I'm good for now, Mr. Hulkinator.
Yeah, Shauna Lana, I think is how you say it. It says Happy Easter, $5 Rumble Rat. Thank you very much. This one's for you.
Showing the name.
I appreciate that. And I like Space Shot always says,
we do appreciate each and every last one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, you get an extra song if you're on Rumble, not YouTube. You get poo-poo, bye-byes. Until that next video, we do appreciate you all for tuning in. And until that next video, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Much love. Be good humans.
is happening in here. That's right, it's Brackets and Jackets, bringing it back for Brackets and Jackets, special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jacket's Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is Brackets and Jackets for the denizens of islands.
Got one more song for you guys, but you know me, I'm trying to prepare my future here, so I'm going to see if I can do another one of these kids guide deals. Either way, we're going to play Lies and Laws for you guys in 1 second here. See if this bad boy works. All right, parents. Real talk for a second. America's about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters. It's not just fireworks and hot dogs, but the real story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began. Who the founding fathers were, and what they risked and why their ideas that they fought for still matter to this day. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all down in a way kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part, it's completely free with this special offer. You just need to pay $2 for shipping and handling. Head over to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday for your kids today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. All right, guys, and here is again a nice compilation of Mr. Swick, a.k.a. Swick, Mr. Swickley, and OH58 Captain, who put all the songs and the sounds together, and Mr. Swickley put the visuals to it. Last song on the way out of here, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me as usual. Until the next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
I'll say a little prayer for you. I'm beginning to understand. When you trade your freedom for safety, it's sacrificed as planned. Judges, lawyers, and politicians have got you by the balls. Regulations and dissertations that lead you to sell walls.